What is your money personality? That is what we're going to talk about this morning on Ground Zero Minding Your Money. Stay tuned. Is your money personality? It's a very interesting question, right? But we all have traits. And trust me, you have traits concerning how you deal with your money. So that is what a money personality is. It is a way of identifying what type of person you are when it comes to dealing with your money. Now, I'm going to dive more into that in just a moment, but I am Nicovana Shannon, CEO and founder of Shannon and Associates, Inc., and we specialize in financial care solutions for individuals when you are trying to get financially healthy. And I have my amazing co-host, Anissa Wright, and she is going to introduce herself.
Good morning, good people. It's your favorite family finance advocate, Anissa, right here, along with Nicovana Shannon. Listen, we help families build generational wealth, get out of debt, and build legacies. That's what we do. And let me tell you, Nicovana, this reminds me so much of love languages. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I really don't quite know how deep we're going to dive into these personalities, but I'm thinking we're kind of leaning towards our love language and money. I'm thinking, what are we talking about here today?
No, that is perfect. That is really a great analogy because it is a language as to just talking about. But there are three others that you don't hear very much about, which would be the risk taker, the security seeker, and the flyer. So all five of these different type of money personalities have distinct, very clear traits that go along with them. So we're just going to talk about that this morning. We're going to start off with the spender, right? So what comes to mind, Anissa, when you think about a spender? What comes to mind?
Exactly what that is. Somebody who likes to spend it before they even get it. I mean, they know it's coming, so they're already making plans on how they're going to, allocate those funds before they even hit the bank account. That's when I think of a spender, I think of someone who's just ready to go and take off without making plans before using their money.
Absolutely. And yes, that's exactly what they do. They live for the moment. Mm-hmm. They absolutely are not majorly concerned about money. They want to make sure that the moment is great. They want to make sure that it creates a memory you never forget. And it doesn't matter what the price tag is. Ooh. So other things that they do, a spender loves buying gifts for the people they love. Mm. And they don't have a cap on what that gift might be. Mm-hmm. So, that's the part that, may get you a little nervous, especially if you're a saver, but they love to spend and splurge on the people that they care about. Mm-hmm. They love buying gifts.
Yeah, that could be very dangerous, to be a full-on spender. Yes. But I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. We'll go ahead.
Absolutely. No, we are. Let me continue. It gets even better. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they get an adrenaline rush with the whole thought of purchasing something. Like there is just something about, getting that money and buying it. There is a whole feel around that whole purchasing piece.
Almost like an addiction.
It is. It kind of borderline, just a little bit. And they are impulsive buyers. So they are those individuals that love those last minute sales. They are the ones that go in, when they say, this is the doorbuster, you have to get it between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. or it's going to be gone. They're the ones standing at the door at 5 o'clock, ready to go in and purchase that doorbuster. And they have more regrets, actually, because of the fact that they're just a little more, I don't want to say irresponsible, but they don't really think through fully how they're spending the money. So once they spend it and then they're like, oh my goodness, I overspent. Now I have some feels about it because it may cause some stress between your companion, because that person may be a saver and you may have a tendency not to tell them what you spent, so it just kind of builds and causes some negative little feels there. And this is the big one. They are absolutely budget breakers. They don't stick to no budget.
What's a budget? What does that mean? Right. Budget who?
Right. Exactly. So those, in a nutshell, really encapsulates what a spender looks like in regards to a money personality. So was that something similar to what you were thinking, Anissa, when it comes to a spender?
Yeah, pretty much. I have, a few of those in my family and in my circle, those that hide the bags when they pull up to the house and wait for everybody to go to sleep before they bring them in. And listen, if you have money to spend and you set that aside, that's great. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about money that's allocated specifically for spending when everything else is you have a savings over here, then you have your bills paid. We're just talking about people that take the whole lot of money and just, spend it without having a plan. So that's pretty dangerous. Let's leave it on the edge, Nick Ivana. That's definitely not my money type personality.
Yes, it is living on edge. It is. So we're going to slide right into what a saver looks like, right? So I'm going to go down the bullet points and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so a saver, they get, which is interesting, right? They get a genuine rush on seeing money in the bank. Like that speaks to them, just like a spender gets a rush buying something, they get a rush, a genuine adrenaline rush seeing money in the bank. And like knowing chocolate. That there is money there. It's just like, it's just like chocolate, right? It feels good. It tastes good. It just gives you that warm and fuzzy feel that you got money in the bank.
Right.
Yes. They are organizers. They're responsible and they're generally trustworthy when it comes to money. You can pretty much trust them. Rarely do they spend compulsively. They don't, that's just out of their whole feel. They avoid credit like lice in the head. They don't want to put it on credit. If they can buy it with cash, that'll be better. If not, we're gonna save it, but we're not gonna put it on credit. Now this is something that could be taken a little negatively. They tend to suck the joy out of situations because the spender is all about creating the moment, and the saver is like, we can't afford that. What are you doing right now? We got, we're trying to save for our children. We're trying to make sure we good. What are you doing?
Right.
And they are overly focused on financial goals. They just kind of spend time on it all the time. They either bringing it up in conversations all the time, and so they can't seem to let it go. So they tend to obsess over money a little bit, and they're considered cheap.
Oh, that's such an ugly word, Nick Ivana. I'm offended.
So what are your thoughts about a saver? Does that match something in regards to how you think a saver would be perceived?
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, and most people would, be a little bit surprised by me saying this, because that definitely speaks more toward my personality versus the spender. I mean, the problem lies in, we're at two extremes of the spectrum here, and too much of anything is not good. Whether you're spending too much or you're saving, you're obsessing so much. So it's definitely good to save and set things aside and have a plan, but especially when you obsess about it, and you don't look at alternative ways to utilize your money in such a way that could benefit you. You're so busy just accumulating, you're missing opportunities. So there could be, good and bad for both of them. I'm definitely leaning to more of the saver, but there needs to definitely be a balance, but for sure.
I agree 100%. But when we come back from a break, we're going to talk about the other 3 money personalities. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we are continuing the conversation on what type of money personality are you? So the next money personality is the risk taker. Now, off the top, when you think about a risk taker, what's your thought in regards to that?
Skydiving, bungee jumping, something dangerous. Or, a speculative investor when it comes to money, people that are open to opportunity, but, can deal with the risk that comes along with that.
No, that exactly. Well, let's see what the traits are here.
Sure.
Okay, so a risk taker is not worried about the details. They don't get caught up in the details. They are really excited about the possibility of what's about to happen. So they get caught up in the what it's going to be like, how wonderful it is, They love finding the next adventure, money-wise. They actually listen to their gut. This particular personality knows how to navigate that whole instinct type of thing. Like, they'll say, this just feels good. Like, my gut is telling me that this is going to work. Like this is something that feels like it's going to do something that that's going to be great. Okay. They are not afraid to make decisions. Not afraid at all to decide what they're going to do. Even if it's right or wrong or indifferent, they will make a decision. Risk takers are often victims of cons. Right? Because they're so attracted to the possibility.
Right.
If it sounds good, it could be a wooden nickel. But if it sounds like a golden coin, they're going to be excited about it. Right? So I can see how they can fall into some different scams, They are blinded by possibility. They get so caught up in what it could be that they don't really think about what it takes to actually get there. And they are easily resented. I thought this was interesting.
Oh, that is interesting.
Easily resented, Okay, so I kind of dove into that a little bit deeper. Okay. And what that was saying basically is that individuals who come across very confident and somewhat arrogant, as if, they come across as if they are a little better than somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Then those that are not as assertive as they are could perceive them in a negative way. So that would make them, that could come across as someone that is less assertive would have some type of resentment towards them because they just seem to be a little overly confident. Like you just really, really got it going on like that. Really?
Yeah. Well, I think in order for you to be a risk taker, you have to have some confidence in yourself. I mean,
I agree.
Who would jump off the cliff if they weren't confident that they would live after they did it, right?
True.
So that kind of goes hand in hand, being confident in a risk taker. And you know what? Surprisingly, I think that we all need a bit of risk.
Just a little bit.
A little bit of a risk taker in all of us. Because if you think about it, when you look at some of the most wealthiest people on the planet, they're risk takers. They believed in themselves. They trusted their gut and they moved. Now, did they just move wantonly? No, I'm sure. But they did have a bit of a risk taking mentality when they moved towards their goal. So I definitely, I like the risk taker. I wouldn't say that that's 100% my personality. No, but I think everybody could use a little bit of risk taking in their lives.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. And so I was just kind of resonating in the first three money personalities. And I lean a little bit towards the risk taking, you know. I'm not fully there. I think I'm a split. I, I'm still trying to find myself a little bit. I don't think I'm so clear in regards to, I feel like I'm a mix. I'm okay with a little bit of spending. I'm okay with savings, but that risk thing does kind of speak to my gut. When I was saying that gut thing, I was really feeling that at the moment.
Yeah. And I think for those that stay too safe, just like the saver we spoke about earlier, again, they risk the opportunity of missing out on something that could potentially been a great beneficial gain for them. So, you know, there has to be a balance. You know, any one of anything, too much of anything is just not good. You got to be able to spread some of that personality out across all three so far. And I'm still interested to hear what the last two are, because there's two more.
Yes, there is two more. Let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth one is the security seeker. Now, this is one I didn't really know much about, to be honest. So it was great just kind of learning what it really meant, what that personality really means. So this is the investigator. This is the person that if they are seeking out a new opportunity, we're going to use property as an example. If they are getting ready to purchase something, or they purchase land and they're going to build their home, they are the individual that's going to investigate all levels to that land.
Right.
They want to know what was there before they cleared it. They want to know what happened 100, 200 years ago. They want to know what it was appraised for. They want to know, if everything that could possibly come along with any public information that they can receive. This is that person. They're going to sit and read. They're going to do a lot of researching. They're going to do a lot of cross-referencing. They're going to they're going to make sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted before they actually move forward. So that's what this person is, this security seeker. They are very trustworthy, though. Very, very trustworthy. They absolutely think about the future of the people that they are connected to. Like that is how they are programmed and wired. They have to make sure we're going to be okay.
Right.
20 years from now, we're going to be okay. 10 years from now, we are going to be okay, because this is the plan and we're going to stick to it. They are willing to make sacrifices, whatever that looks like. If that means that we can't spend for 2 years because we're trying to save, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to spend. They're going to be very frugal. They're not going to come out of that box. And in 2 years, you're going to have whatever you need in order to purchase whatever you're trying to purchase. And they don't move either way or another. They're just focused. Like, if that's what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do, period. And so they prepare for everything, like everything. So that means that I laugh because I actually have a friend that is like this.
You're thinking about all the people in your circle. That's you. Yeah.
And so, I know for me, I'm a planner, but I'm okay with my plan having detours. I'm okay with my plan flexing a little bit. If it doesn't work that way, okay, let's stick this in. We're just going to put a detour in. We're headed to the same direction. It's okay. We're going to make it there, but it doesn't have to be exact.
Right.
I'm not going to lose my mind if we have to veer off a little bit.
Right.
This to me sounds like someone that gets frantic if it changes.
The plan changes. A little bit. Yeah, for sure. I definitely had a girlfriend like that as well. And this is the crazy thing about it is that, she's such and I'm not even over exaggerating. We could go somewhere And literally I could say, you know what, man, I need a plastic spoon. She could pull it out of her purse and she would have it. I could say, oh my gosh, you know, I left, I don't know, hot sauce at the house. She could pull it out
of her purse. Yes.
She would just, whatever it was, and it would just, we would die laughing because she would always have whatever, you know, that we needed. And again, those people are great to have in your circle. That's a personality trait, money-wise, you definitely want to have in your repertoire of personalities as it relates to money.
Yes.
But again,
yes,
you know, if you're not flexible, things change. Life happens, right? I mean, we can't control. We like to think that we're in control. See, that's the thing, right? we like to think that we're in control, but life happens. Emergencies come up. Kids need things. Family members need things. You want to be able to serve if you know, a friend or a family or somebody has a need. Life happens, so we have to be willing and okay to move when those things need for us to move, right? Absolutely. And so being a great planner and being prepared, definitely we all need to have that part of our attitudes towards money. But you know, let's be a little bit flexible, people.
Right.
A little bit flexible.
just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, well, there's two more things about this particular money personality. Okay, so they get stuck in a research rut. So they are the overthinker. They are the ones that constantly analyze to the point that it paralyzes them. Like they are just constantly rethinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking it. And so, and they stifle creativity. They have a tendency to just, you know, if it doesn't bring me security, I can't do it. You know?
Yeah. And that can be very harmful. Because again, missing out on opportunities, right? We definitely want to be able to, if there's an opportunity that comes up, but it doesn't match the plan that we're, you know, aligned with or that we're following, you know, that could be detrimental to the security later that person could be seeking, right? Absolutely. If they have an opportunity to invest in real estate, or they have an opportunity to, invest in some stock that, you know, the stock price dropped, you know, and it's on sale now, and you don't move because you think it's going to go lower, and eventually it goes up again and you didn't move. That's an opportunity that you lost out on because you didn't make that decision. Let me tell you, when we are stuck, Nikavana, that's such a great point. When we are stuck in research mode, it's very good to research, but you can research yourself to death and you just don't move at all. And that is a killer. It is a killer, especially financial wise. So if ever there comes a time where you feel like you would like to move towards something, but you're just unsure because the research isn't giving you the final answer or whatever, you know, reach out to someone that's knowledgeable and allow them to guide, and then trust. If that's somebody you reached out to get the information, that usually means that you trust that person. Absolutely. So, you know, take a chance, have a little bit of that risk taker in you and move, because, you know, nothing is guaranteed, but, you know, missing opportunity is definitely not worth doing because we're stuck in that research rut.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. You know what? We're going to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the final money personality. Great. We'll be right back.
You know, I'm sure that plays out in so many different ways inside of the home. I definitely would love to be a flyer. Doesn't sound very sustainable. But, you know, again, a little of each one, you know, probably more of some versus the other. But, you know, it's definitely great to have. What I love about the flyer is, and this just comes from being very faith-based, What
Yes.
I love about the flyer from your description
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the joy that they find in being content, right? Because I think many
Yes.
times for those that aren't content, they're
Mm-hmm.
driven to
Mm-hmm.
save or they're
Mm-hmm.
driven to spend.
That's a
You know,
good
it could
point.
go either
Yes.
way because they're not
Yes.
content and they're trying to find contentment in something outside of themselves, right? Versus finding it in the
Absolutely.
God they worship or, family, whatever the case may be. They're trying to find something outside of themselves to fill
Mm-hmm.
that void. And we need to find contentment. Not saying contentment doesn't mean being idle or not pursuing your goals and your dreams. It just means I'm
Right.
okay with where I am now, knowing that I'm pursuing something greater later, right?
Correct.
So I definitely
Correct.
think we could use a little bit of the
The
flyer.
flyer.
Not all flyer. We can't be
Right.
an all flyer, right? But we
Right.
can learn a few things from the flyer, I think, as it relates to that contentment piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was an amazing point that you brought out. You're so right, because having that contentment is huge because it is faith-based, and knowing that you can have a positive outlook on it does make it better. It does shift your inner being to lean more towards being positive. So I absolutely agree. We can have a little bit of all of these different money personalities if they work in your favor in regards to what the particular trait is. But I know we all tend to lean to one or two,
Right.
So hopefully, just through our discussion alone, you have kind of figured out where you fit. And it's okay, like you said, to have a balance between 2 or 3 personalities, because too much of one could be a harm to you, or too much of another, may not be good enough for you, so having that balance is probably better anyway, having
Absolutely.
a good mix.
Absolutely.
We have had a wonderful, wonderful conversation tonight. And so I definitely, this morning. And so I definitely want you all to continue to plug in with us and connect with us. We do have a GZ Tribe, which is our Facebook private group that allows us to go deeper into our money topics and allows our GZ Tribe to talk to us and tell us how they're feeling, what their comments are, what their feedback is, and how we could better suit them in regards to meeting those particular needs. So I really would love for you to just email us, let us know that you are interested in wanting to become part of our GZ Tribe, and also just plug back into Ground Zero Minding Your Money. We are here for you. We definitely want to hear from you, hear your comments and concerns or remarks and encouragement. We need that too. But we definitely, we are very grateful that you are a part of us. So, you know what? We're going to prepare for next week. I'm going to pass it off to my co-host, Anissa Wright, and she is going to close us out.
Oh, we enjoyed so much having you with us this morning. And again, like Nikavana said, please join the GZ Tribe. Talk to us. Let us know what you're interested in learning more about. If it's actual money tips that you need, let us know what kind of money tips or what types of topics you would like to discuss, and email us even. And you can find that information at the end of the video here. Email us even, and you can find that information by joining the GZ Tribe. Touch base with us. We want to help you. We love having you. We'll see you next week.